FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried are coming after Robinhood. It had got announced yesterday that Sam Bankman-Fried, the CEO of FTX Exchange, bought 56.3 million shares of Robinhood and now owns nearly 8% of the company. This is a massive deal. I mean, look at Sam right there chilling in his little bean bag. So Sam, for you guys that don't know, is the CEO of FTX. It's a multi-billion dollar company. He has done extremely well throughout the last few years as crypto has become a mainstream asset and gained trillions of dollars of value. He owns the exchange, and now he is acquiring shares in Robinhood, which is traditionally an equity brokerage, but they have transitioned now, and now most of their trading actually comes through crypto. So if we look at the stats of Robinhood, it's actually a pretty big business. They went public a few months ago, and now they have millions of accounts, and they're doing millions of dollars in volume. So at the end of 2021, they had 22.7 million users, a year-over-year increase of 81%. So the platform is growing pretty fast, and they have no commission trading. Right, so they do the payment for order flow that you guys have become accustomed to, or at least learned about over the last few years, and the importance that it has on the market. They lost $3.7 billion in 2021, and revenue fell 43% in the first quarter of 2022 from a year ago. So I don't have the numbers in front of me, but a lot of that is actually due to crypto, because these businesses with no fee trading, they're making majority of their money on the crypto now. And that's why exchanges like Robinhood have gotten so aggressive with marketing, right? So when you think about Robinhood, it used to be, hey, we do no commission, and that's the way they pitch it to everyone else, right? Come trade your stocks here and you'll get a good deal. Now it's become, hey, here's Doge, here's Sheeb, and here's Shiba and all these other things. And it's turned into this crypto-esque platform where they're doing a little bit of everything, but the majority of their trading actually comes from crypto versus stocks now. So we don't know exactly what Sam Bankman-Fried is doing here. He hasn't publicly said his intentions. He is a passive investor at this point. He's not an active investor. The two founders of the company still own the majority of the business and would have voting rights over him at this point. But I do think it's interesting that the CEO of a massive crypto exchange is now buying what you would consider a traditional brokerage or a traditional equity brokerage that has now transitioned into crypto. So I think it's a massive thing to watch, but ultimately I don't know what we know will come out of it. What is your opinion, John?
Robinhood just missed big on their expectations, what they were going to do in revenue. They have clearly leaned more and more towards crypto, to your point about how they initially got, I would call it, popularity because of all the meme stock craze that was happening in 2020 during the pandemic. People were at home trying to learn what to do. They leaned heavily on crypto. Crypto increased a lot in prices. We've seen this across the board with all exchanges in crypto, that their 2022 Q1 numbers that are coming out aren't as spectacular as people thought because they're leaning so heavily on an asset that has gone down a lot in value. With that said, Sam Bankman-Fried, worth $11 billion, buying part, I'll call it 8%, 7%, 8% of Robinhood is great for Robinhood. It's probably great for Sam Bankman-Fried. They've gotten a lot of users. They've obviously retracted that number because they've leaned so heavily on crypto, but they've gotten a lot of users. Sam Bankman-Fried, I'm sure, would love to get more involved in the retail trader aspect of things, as FTX is a little bit more kind of geared for professional traders. So his platform is a little different, but yeah, good for him. I mean, Robinhood, I am a little bit bullish on Robinhood. I think they have a good opportunity to capture a lot more of the market share, to get a lot more people, especially the younger generation. They gamified the app. I like the move for Sam Bankman-Fried. Now, this is exactly what happened with Twitter. Does he stay passive investor, or does he immediately just get aggressive and try to buy the business?
Yeah. So what is the value? Let me look it up real quick. The valuation of Robinhood.
Well, you can see that it went up about 30% after hours.
So it's a $10 billion business from a market cap perspective right now, and that's after a 25% increase, right? So Sam Bankman-Fried bought the position, or the position got announced yesterday. It's up 25% today alone, Robinhood stock. It's now a $9.34 billion business. So Sam has plenty of money and can have access to the capital markets to get plenty of more money if he wanted to acquire a meaningful position in the business. I mean, he already has a meaningful position, but a larger position. But I do think it's interesting because if I remember correctly, I think the stock IPO'd, it went public. Yeah, it went public in the 30s, 35. It traded on its first day, and it shot all the way up to 55. And it's down even with the Sam Bankman-Fried bump. It's still down 80%. So it's been a rough few months for Robinhood as a company in the public markets. And I think what we've seen is like, Sam probably thinks that he can do a bunch of different things around the success that he's had with FTX and change Robinhood up to have success there. And they have a massive customer base, right? So at some point you're paying for that attention, you're paying for that access to a whole younger generation. And FTX has done a lot of these different things through marketing and so forth with sports and entertainment and stuff like that on the financial side. But I think Robinhood probably represents an asset to him that is extremely valuable. I don't know if it's worth $10 billion. I don't know if it's worth more or less than that to him. But he obviously sees value in the position that he's garnered from an equity perspective. And it wouldn't be surprising to me to see him do something similar to what Elon has done at Twitter, right? Which is go in, acquire a position in the business, go from passive to active, and then figure out how you can take control of the business. Sam is extremely wealthy personally. He has built a large position. The FTX is obviously a large business. He has access to the financial capital now. He's raised billions of dollars at FTX from investors. He certainly could go do it if he wanted to and buy Robinhood. I don't know if that's happening. I don't know if he just wants to implement some changes. I don't know if there's another game here that he's playing. But ultimately, it wouldn't surprise me if this is just the start of this story with him.
We're gonna see. I think he could pull basically what Elon did with Twitter, which is you make that small investment and then you almost strong arm them and say, look, I have the money to do it. I'm going to buy you guys. This is what's going to happen. If you deny me of buying you guys at a premium, it's clearly against the interest of your shareholders because they will actually get more value for their dollar as it currently sits. I think we actually might see something similar, but there's no 100% guarantee in anything.